Well, welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here. You know, if you've been feeling that creeping anxiety as your license expiration date gets closer and closer, hey, take a deep breath. You are in exactly the right place. Today, we're setting the stage for a completely stress-free, totally comprehensive guide to renewing your Oregon real estate license. We've done the heavy lifting, combing through the statutes, the regulations, all those dense official bulletins, so you absolutely don't have to. So let me ask you, are you a real estate agent in Oregon looking to renew your license with ease? Stay tuned as we unravel everything you need to know to keep your career flourishing. Honestly, whether you're a brand new broker staring down your very first renewal or a seasoned principal broker with decades under your belt, this explainer is built to give you a crystal clear, highly actionable roadmap. Now, before we really get into the weeds, I do need to state our quick mandatory disclaimer. This explainer is for informational purposes only. Real estate laws and continuing education rules, yeah, they can and do change. So please always verify all this information with the official Oregon Real Estate Agency, or OREA, or other authoritative sources. We definitely want you informed, but official compliance, well, that's always between you and the state. And hey, speaking of the state, let's anchor our conversation today by introducing the Oregon Real Estate Agency. They are literally the ultimate governing body for your licensure, the whole shebang. They run the e-license portal, they monitor your continuing education compliance, and they enforce the rules that keep the Oregon real estate market running smoothly. So they're going to be your primary point of contact for this entire journey. All right, here is our playbook for today. We're going to breeze through Oregon license renewal basics, then fulfilling educational requirements, the step-by-step renewal process, the status matrix, overcoming common roadblocks, and finally, wrap it up with essential resources and tips. Let's jump right into Section 1, Oregon License Renewal Basics, Timelines and Eligibility Criteria. Okay, so knowing your strict deadlines is absolutely the bedrock of a successful renewal. Missing a deadline in this industry doesn't just mean a pesky late fee. It can literally mean an immediate, hard stop to your ability to practice, represent your clients, and, actually earn your livelihood. In Oregon, your license is generally valid for a 2-year cycle. But, and this is a massive caveat for newer agents, your very first license period will probably be shorter than 2 full years. Why? Well, because your specific expiration date always lands on the last day of your birth month. So say your license is issued in January, but your birthday is in July. Your first renewal is going to creep up way faster than you might think. You absolutely have to get your required continuing ed done within this window, right before that final day of your birth month. Okay, let's dive into this next part. Section 2, Fulfilling Educational Requirements, Navigating Your CE Credits. Honestly, this is where a lot of agents get tripped up. The state mandates very specific coursework depending on exactly where you are in your career. It is definitely not a one-size-fits-all deal. The absolutely crucial number you need to burn into your brain is 30. 30 hours. Whether you're a broker or a principal broker, you must complete 30 hours of certified continuing education every 2 years to keep your license active. No shortcuts here. The state needs to know you're completely up to speed on the latest laws, ethical practices, and industry standards. Now, there's actually a pretty stark difference in how those 30 hours are broken down between a first-time renewal and a seasoned veteran. If this is your very first time renewing an active license, you can't just pick and choose fun electives. Nope, you must take a highly specific package. That's a 26-hour advanced practices course, a 2-hour law and rule required course, most people just call it LARC, and integrating the newly updated state mandates, a 2-hour fair housing course. Now, for your subsequent renewals, the rules do relax a bit. You get to take 27 hours of electives alongside a 3-hour LARC course. But hey, pro tip, always check the OREA site for the exact hour breakdown for the specific year you're renewing, just to be totally safe. Moving right along to Section 3, Step-by-Step Renewal Process, Executing the Application. Doing the coursework is really only half the battle, right? You still have to execute the application correctly in the state's digital system. So let's make this super actionable with a simple 4-step execution plan. Step 1, knock out your 30 hours of CE. Step 2, log into the OREA e-license portal online, and remember, the state absolutely does not want paper applications. Step 3, you'll manually enter your continuing ed course data right into the portal. And actually, fun fact, you don't even upload your certificates during this step. You literally just type the data in. And finally, Step 4, pay the $300 active renewal fee. It really is just that straightforward if you've done the prep work beforehand.
But wait, hold on. Just because you don't upload the certificates to the portal doesn't mean you can just toss them in the trash. You have to maintain physical or digital records of those CE completion certificates for 3 full years. 3 years! This is a super strict compliance mandate. If the ORIA ever decides to audit you and you can't produce those certificates, your license and by extension your career could be in serious jeopardy. Just do yourself a favor and back them up on a cloud drive literally the second you finish your courses.
All right, on to Section 4, the status matrix: active, inactive, expired, and lapsed. Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that your license doesn't just exist as simply on or off. It actually takes one of several different legal states, and each one comes with its own specific rules, privileges, and, penalties. Think of it like a matrix. If you're active, great, you can practice and you just pay your $300 every 2 years. If you're inactive, you are strictly prohibited from practicing or even receiving referral fees. But it only costs $150 to maintain this sort of holding status. Now, if your license is expired for less than 1 year, you can't practice. Recovering it means finishing your CE, paying the $300 fee, plus a pretty severe late penalty. And what if you let your license stay expired for more than a year? Well, it becomes lapsed. Game over. Your file is permanently closed and you literally have to completely reapply from scratch as if you were a brand new agent, including taking those 150 hours of pre-license education all over again. No way you want to do that. Let me just draw your attention to this particular number right here, $150. That is the late fee penalty they slap on an expired license. If you miss your birth month deadline by even a single day, the state tacks on a whopping 50% penalty to your standard renewal fee. Ouch, right? Let that $150 be exactly the financial incentive you need to just start this whole process early. That brings us to Section 5, overcoming common roadblocks, strategic tips, and compliance hazards. Look, real estate is completely unpredictable, and sometimes life just gets in the way. But even if you hit a bump in the road, there are perfectly legal, strategic ways to handle it without blowing up your business or racking up massive fines. In fact, there's a brilliant strategic safety valve built right into the system. If the last day of your birth month is looming and you realize, oh no, I simply cannot finish my 30 hours of CE in time, do not just let your license expire. Instead, log into the e-license portal and renew your license as inactive. Yes, you won't be able to practice temporarily, but you will completely bypass that $150 late fee. Once you finish your CE a week or a month later, you just pay a reactivation fee and transfer right back to your brokerage. It's such a vital strategic tip. Now, here is a systemic risk you absolutely must be aware of, especially if you work in a boutique brokerage. It's known as the sole principal broker failure. In Oregon, every single agent has to be structurally tied to a registered business. So if the sole principal broker of that business drops the ball and fails to renew their license, the entire registered business name is instantly voided. Boom. That means every single associate broker and property manager under that umbrella is automatically instantly placed on inactive status and legally barred from practicing. One single person's missed deadline can literally halt an entire company's operations. Talk about a domino effect. Constant communication within your brokerage about renewal dates is absolutely critical. Let's wrap things up with Section 6, Essential Resources and Tips, your toolkit for success. I want to leave you fully equipped to execute everything we've just talked about so that your renewal process is smooth sailing. Here is your essential toolkit. Go ahead and bookmark the ORIA e-license portal right now. That is where all the magic happens. Use the ORIA approved provider lookup to make absolutely sure the school you're buying CE from is actually state certified. And if you get completely stuck, just call the agency directly at 503-378-4170 or shoot them an email. But honestly, the single most important tip I can give you is that last point. Right now, today, set a recurring calendar reminder for 6 months before your birth month. Just give yourself half a year of runway to get those 30 hours done. You'll thank yourself later. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Your real estate license isn't just a piece of paper, is it? It's your livelihood. It represents your hard work, your expertise, and your entire future. So I'll leave you with this question. What steps will you take today to ensure your next renewal is completely stress-free? Don't just sit around waiting for the state to email you a reminder. Take total ownership of your timeline, start that continuing education early, and keep your career flourishing. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.